Hello and welcome to Chandler in Focus. I am Councilmember Kevin Hartke, and today we're honored to have some of the winners from the annual Chandler Volunteer Award. So my guests on the first part of this program are Jot Powers and Lionel or Leo. I'm going to call you Leo, okay? Because that's just what I call you, Leo Martinez.
Yes.
It's an honor to have you guys here. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So Jot, you are here representing PayPal for our Make It Happen Award. And Leo, you are here because you were the highly esteemed People's Choice Award for your volunteer work with various youth groups. And we're glad that both of you are here, and I want to say welcome. So before we talk more about the specific things that you guys do that brought you before us, tell us a little bit about yourself. So John, just briefly, tell us about who you are. And
Sure, I'm a senior manager at PayPal. I've been working there for just about 10 years in operations architecture, and now I manage a custom software development organization for our professional services team. And in addition to that, been a Chandler resident for 22 years, live here with my family.
22 years, and you live on the south side of town.
I'm down almost to Hun Highway. We're all the way down there.
That's great. Leo, tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm a junior at Chandler High School.
Go Wolves.
Yeah, go Wolves. I work at the Boys and Girls Club, and I volunteer with different types of groups in our Boys and Girls Club.
That is great. And before we talk a little bit more about your specifics, I'd like to share that every year the City of Chandler partners with the Chandler Nonprofit Coalition that I'm involved with called For Our City. And years ago, when we were celebrating our 100th anniversary in Chandler, we had the idea of why don't we do something bigger to celebrate Chandler's volunteers. So we started off asking people to look at hours that they were volunteering, and had organizations that were already tracking hours kind of turn those into us, and others that were not start looking at that. So we looked at volunteers that were engaged with at least 100 hours a year, and found that we had lots of them. But what we also discovered was that we had some volunteers that give 1,000 hours a year in volunteering to Chandler organizations. So that tracks itself out to a little less than 20 hours a week, which is a pretty substantial part-time job, and which is pretty cool. So this year, as we also had with other years, we invited winners like yourself and others who had been nominated for certain awards to come and invite a guest and be part of our free breakfast. And we had some pretty fun categories in which we were volunteering, as well as others that were just known for their lots of hours, or at least 100 hours that we invited. So again, congratulations to both of you for representing some worth categories. And you've already shared your backgrounds with us. So tell us again, how long have you been at PayPal?
So I've been at PayPal just coming up on 10 years now. So before that, I've worked for other technology companies in the Valley. But yeah, 10 years at PayPal.
And PayPal is a pretty awesome company. What do you like about it most?
For me, the thing that's been the best is simply the variety of opportunities I've had. Right, we've been a fast-growing company, but I've been able to do multiple things in a company that's consistently rated one of the best places to work in Arizona. I've been given a bunch of opportunities to be very successful and try different things, and it's been a fantastic opportunity.
Very good. And John, you were part of, with your company, awarded the Make It Happen Award.
Right.
So tell us about PayPal's philosophy on community partnership and engagement.
Right. Well, we're a company that's built around financial inclusion and technology. But more importantly, we really want to be engaged with the community that we live and work in, right? And obviously, I've lived in Chandler for a long time. And so what we did is we look at how it is that we can try to make our community more vibrant and help it thrive. So in this particular instance, right, we even brought other companies into our effort. So we partnered with American Express. We partnered with SeedSpot, which is a local nonprofit incubator. We also had great participation from Intel on participants and volunteers and all of those things. So we try to bring all those together to make it better for the community.
And specifically this year, PayPal was nominated and received the Make It Happen Award for the hackathon.
Yes.
Tell
yeah.
us about that event.
Absolutely. So the first thing is we probably ought to explain what a hackathon is, right? So PayPal is a financial services company. We're interested in protecting your money, not hacking it. So a hackathon is where we get a small group of people, or in our case, a large group of people together to work on specific problems in a very short period of time. So for us, we brought people in Saturday morning, and they worked around the clock, 30-plus hours on problems. And we partnered mostly ASU students through our work with the Software Development Association to bring in a bunch of ASU students, and then nonprofits in the community. So the nonprofits really have this understanding of what the problems are they face in the community, what are real issues they have, and technology people really understand what is available to try to help solve those problems. And so this hackathon was bringing those people together to create solutions for them.
I'm glad you also explained what a hackathon is. My wife's idea was hacked, and we had to do a manual text turn in because we were blocked out. And I shudder to think what could happen. You get a room full of bright people that set themselves just to hack ideas. That would not be a good deal. So what were some of the success stories from this year's hackathon?
So when we look at it, I think the biggest success is just us being able to bring people together, right? So again, our goal is not just to have 30 hours of working together, but how can we build a relationship between people with technology skills and skills-based volunteering and community organizations that have these real needs. And I think we did that very successfully. If we look sort of historically at things that we've been able to do, we've had groups that have gone on to create a nonprofit startup to do it. In the holiday season, a lot of times you'll see what are called giving trees, right? Where you have the ability to take an item and say, hey, I'm going to give this to someone else. One of our teams built what we're calling the Uber for Giving Tree, where it coordinates the collection of those items to the delivery so that it gets to the recipients. On our side, I think one of the most exciting things I saw is when we were talking with the nonprofits, they really said, well, how is it, can you help us? We really don't understand. Maybe we can get a new web page, or I kind of like mobile. But in some of the deeper conversations, it was one of the cancer charities, we ended up talking about, what is it that you can do to improve the quality for your customers? And in this case, I believe it was the Children's Cancer Network. And as for those of us who are parents, one of the things that you can really imagine is being in the hospital over the holidays or with your child is a very dehumanizing element, right? And so when we talk to them, we're like, well, imagine the case where you can easily find through a social method people who are going through the same things you are, so that you can have someone to talk to, someone just to sit in the cafeteria with, those things. So that was one of the things that came out of it, is working on that and really helping expose that even as a possibility to a nonprofit that is trying to do good for the community but doesn't understand what technology can bring them.
Well, very good. And is there the plans for a hackathon this year coming up? And
Absolutely. So we're already planning for this year. We're hoping to do October 8th and 9th at our PayPal facility.
Fantastic.
Again.
And how can people find out about that?
So we'll post the hackathon on www.devpost.com. Obviously, as a member of the community, you can reach out to a bunch of your community members and find out. If it comes to it, you can email me personally, jotpowers@gmail.com.
All right. Leo. Leo's one of my favorite people. I like his smile. I like interacting with him, and we get a chance to monthly. So you received the People's Choice Award. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Can you share a little bit more about yourself? You go to Chandler High School. How long have you been involved with the Boys and Girls Club?
Well, I started at the Boys and Girls Club in 5th grade, and then it just seemed very interesting, so I stuck with it throughout the times, and I just keep on improving with the Boys and Girls Club and getting me to places. But I'm part of Keystone, which is a group that helps out their community and tries to do different types of projects throughout our community. And like we do I Help, which is a program where we serve lunch or serve dinner and then pack homeless a lunch, and we just serve them the food. And then I'm part of CCYSA, Chandler Coalition on Youth Substance Abuse, and I'm the vice president of that. And we go out and inform people about the harm and like consequences of drugs and alcohol with teenagers, and we teach them ways about how to prevent it and how to like prevent the issue.
Very good. And a shout out to Ted Huntington, a brand new grandfather who is the director of the CCYSA.
Yes.
So tell us about one of your favorite memorable experiences as a volunteer.
I just like going out and seeing the faces on the people that we're helping out in our community, and just I like seeing the other people.
And what would you say to, if you're in a room with other young people, what would you say to them about volunteering? Why do you volunteer? And how can they get involved?
I volunteer because I like to make a change, and I like to see other people follow. So I like being a leader. But I would start off by them like going to their local Boys and Girls Clubs or local recreational centers and asking for information about volunteering, and they'll just help them from there.
Very good. And you mentioned you're a junior, and
Yes.
you are looking at chemical engineering and seeing where you want to go.
Yes.
That is great. So what else? Is there another thing you'd like to say about the Boys and Girls Club or your experience with that?
Well, I'm currently the president of Keystone, as I said previously, and we like to fund money for different projects and stuff, and we like to go to the national conferences that they hold in the United States, and we try to fundraise as much as possible, and it just helps to see if we like get donations and stuff.
And I understand that after the breakfast that we had in February, which I believe was on a Tuesday, that Friday you were invited to go to a Phoenix Suns game and be part of a group of people that were honored on the floor down there. How was that?
Yes. Oh, that was an amazing experience. I
Yeah?
loved it. Yeah, I got to see players up close and stuff, and I got to receive an award. It was amazing.
All right. Well, I wish you would have brought that award. That would have been fun. Well, I want to thank both of you for coming and for your involvement in our community. And we're now going to take a short break, and we'll be back with two other guests. Well, welcome back. I'm still Kevin Hartke with Chandler in Focus, and I would like to introduce two other guests that are outstanding volunteers with us in the city of Chandler. So now we have Carol Temple and Christine Rowe, and it's an honor to have you here. So you guys were part of a team that was awarded the Working Together Awards for your contributions with the Chandler Senior Center Quilters Group. And I understand that there are 18 people as part of your group. So we could have all of them here, but that would really make this studio pretty crowded. So we picked the two best, or at least you can tell everyone else when they watch this program that that's why we picked you. How's that?
You're causing trouble now.
Well, my mom used to say that's my middle name, so we can keep going that. So before we start talking about the award, tell us a little bit about your background. So where are you from and how long have you been in Chandler? Christine.
I grew up in California, and then I came to Arizona in 1984 and lived in the White Mountains, and then I arrived in Chandler in 1990. And I'm a retired teacher and school administrator.
Very good. And Carol, tell us a little bit about your story.
I came here to Chandler in about 14 years ago from Indiana, where I grew up, went to school, and I'm a retired nurse.
So retired school administrator, retired nurse, very qualified people with a lot of great life experience helping people. So volunteering is probably nothing new to either one of you, is it?
That's true.
So Carol, you are the leader of the Quilters group. Can you tell us how this group got started and who had the idea to start this group and how has it evolved or changed over time?
I think in the very beginning it was a group of ladies that got to know each other at the senior center. And over the years, if you look at their history, the senior center itself has undergone a couple of expansions. And in about 1995, it's my understanding that they more formally created a group where they could get together. And it was just people like us that had been quilters and liked to get together. And then they progressed to the point where they could do things to raise some money to help volunteer groups in the community.
Well, that's great. My great-grandmother was a quilter from Ireland, and I have some of her things, my grandmother's stuff, and several blankets from my mother still. So I come from a family of quilters, but it died. It died with me. So and we'll see whether if any of my children pick up quilting as well. So that's kind of fun. And Chris, how did you decide to join this group?
I love quilts. I've always loved quilts, but I'm not from a family of quilters. So I had no experience, and I kept thinking, I need to take a class in that. And the Chandler Senior Center was holding classes about 3 summers ago, and Carol was the instructor. And so I signed up for that and learned plenty. And when it was over, then she invited me to join the Quilters group. So when I retired, that's the first thing I did.
So that's how you pick your ball team, huh? You hold these
That's
classes, and you kind of pick the tops of the tops, and then they join your group, huh?
Well, that's one of the ways.
Yeah. I imagine you have some that you don't ask to join the group as well, huh?
No, we ask everyone to join the group. There are all levels of experience and expertise, and that's typical of a group like that.
I'm sure if I joined, we would bring new lows to that statement, all levels.
Oh, we would find a place for you.
That's right.
Here, hold this thread. So who's a part of this group, and what's the background of some of the other members?
We have 18 members currently, and we're from all walks of life. There are lots of professionals and also business people. You name it, and somebody has done that job at some time. So that's wonderful. And we all get together and hand quilt. We have one member who is a man, and he's a trained tailor. And he comes and also quilts, but he uses a sewing machine to do so.
And so you mentioned you get together regularly. And so, Chris, how can someone get involved?
Just come by and see us. We're at the Chandler Senior Center. We have our own room. And we are there every Tuesday and Thursday from 8 to 11:30. And we're always happy to tell people what we do and to help them if they need any to learn how to quilt.
And do you or Carol, do you still offer lessons to people who would like to pick up this craft and art?
We don't have a class scheduled right now. We do help people learn if they just come individually.
Yeah. And I imagine that you have supplies and some costs. So are you accepting donations?
We love donations.
I expected both of you to flash a big smile at that question.
And we get great donations of fabric, quilting supplies, quilting books and magazines. And we use those often as part of our raffle quilts.
And Well, I'll get to that question maybe in a minute. So the event at the volunteer breakfast, your group won the Working Together Award. So I could certainly envision how you would work together as quilters, helping one another, as coming out with a product that you're going to be a blessing to the community. So tell me, how do you work together?
In our quilting room, we have 3 quilt frames set up. And so if you think back to pioneer days when the women would all come together and sit down and create a community while they quilted, that's what we have going on. And then what we do is we quilt, we raise money by quilting for the community members. And then we take that money and we donate it to charitable organizations within the area.
Well, very good. Now, recently, just a few years, 4 years ago, Chandler celebrated our centennial. And your group helped with that, with a centennial quilt. Tell me about that. Who wants to tell me?
Well, I'll tell you about that. That was created to commemorate the things that had happened over the last 100 years. And it was very interesting to put together. The city of Chandler helped us with printing the pictures that we had onto fabric that we incorporated into the quilt. Then after it was completed, it was dedicated to the city at a centennial celebration that was held here. And after that, it went on a, I forget what the word they called it, but from place to place where it was displayed throughout the next year. And now it currently is being displayed at the library.
Well, very good. What are some of the other things, Carol, that you guys have done as quilting projects that are as memorable as that to you?
Well, I think one of the main ones is our work with the Soldiers' Angels. We made small quilts that we sent. This was during just after the Iraq War, I believe. That was early in the time that I came. And we make quilts for some of the local organizations, the Sisters in Need and the Babies in Need. Can't remember the names of all these organizations. And those things we actually donate quilts to, and other organizations we donate money to.
Okay. Money from the quilts that you guys have put together and sold or auctioned off in some capacity. Mm-hmm. Well, very good. So who else benefits from your group? Some of the individuals or organizations that you can recollect.
We have My Sister's Place,
good organization.
The Chandler Gilbert Community College Fund. We provide assistance to the Chandler Senior Center, like helping to support dances and other activities.
Do you have a lot of dancers there?
We do.
I can imagine.
We do. We also have contributed to Hospice of the Valley and United Food Bank, Salvation Army.
Oh, very good. So, Chris, let's keep on that theme of the Senior Center. Tell me a little bit about it. You know,
the Senior Center is, well, actually, you have some information about when it was.
Well, as I said, it's grown throughout the years.
Sure.
It serves people ages 55 and up to provide a place for recreation and for getting together. One of the main things they offer is a lunch program, and that's served Monday through Friday for a donation of $2.50. And it's a well-planned meals and all. So that's a very nice thing. I think one of the main things, too, is the camaraderie, a place where people can come and talk with other people and not just sit at home and be alone.
Sure.
The everyday things are the card games and the pool room and the line dancing and a lot of things that even more than I even know about because I'm always busy in the quilt room.
And they do put out a publication called Senior News. And in that has the menus and lots of information. Along with what Carol has already said, there's also excursions and activities. There's classes like computer and Tai Chi. They do trips like to Diamondback games. And the social services are there 3 days a week. And they also, the lunch program, as she mentioned, starts at 11:30, Monday through Friday.
I've stopped by for a cup of coffee in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember not long ago I spoke at a tribute of one of our
Yes.
residents, and I was going to get a cup of coffee then, but it was late in the afternoon. It was only decaf, so
Oh.
I'm not a decaf drinker, so
No.
I let that one go by. But the
Yeah.
place always seems to be buzzing with activity and
It is.
a lot of smiles, and everyone's having a fun time there.
Mm-hmm.
So what else do you guys like about the Senior Center? We're wrapping up our program now.
One of the things that I've really enjoyed is that they provide us with a quilter's room. And recently we had a family who lost their mother. And as they went through her belongings, they found 9 quilts that she had done the tops for, but she hadn't completed.
Wow.
And so they've brought those to us, and we're in the process of just finishing those up, hand quilting them for the family.
Very awesome. My mom, before she had passed away, had made quilts for each of her grandkids to be presented at their weddings. So
Very nice.
we still have 2 quilts that we're holding on to at our house, as well as my one brother as well. So it's a pretty fun legacy
It
to
is.
be able to pass down. Well, I want to thank both of you for coming and joining us today and having a chance to share both about the Senior Center, and the vibrancy is there, as well as what you guys do. And again, congratulations for being one of our award winners with the Chandler Volunteer Breakfast, and hope I'll see you there next year again, right?
Yes, yes.
Very good. So
Thank you so much.
thank you again
Thank
for
you.
joining us. Again, I'm Kevin Hartke, and this is Chandler in Focus. And until next time, stay safe and enjoy Chandler.